You'd be surprised how many uses there are for a nice fragment of silicon.
Welcome to another installment of Fragments of Silicon, the Daylight Interviews. Right, joining us this week is one Konrad Werys of Werys Limited.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Very well, very well. How are you?
I think we're doing fine, well enough. Some people might need some caffeine, but it's still morning here. Anyway,
it's afternoon in here. Currently, I'm in London.
Okay, right. It'd be about 4 o'clock.
Yes, that's correct. Good calculation. Though, when we were arranging this interview, I got a little confused about AM and PM.
Yes, we've had enough European guests on this time space where I know where a person's time is. Just one of the things you pick up. Anyway, right. So let us get into it. And how we start the interview is we ask this question of our guests: what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and a professional level?
Absolutely. So I think since I was very young, I really liked computer and video games. And back, when I was, 8, the computers were not very available. So I was always going to my friends and playing video games or friends' dads or friends' moms' computers. And this was extremely appealing for me. And then I think when I was maybe 14, I managed to save enough money to get my first PC with some help from my parents. And yeah, I was trying to spend as much time playing video games as possible, but my parents were like, no, you should learn. So yeah, I was always super fascinating and enthusiastic about video games. And then I think when I went to study, this is when I had a little more freedom and no one was checking how much time I'm spending on computer. So this is where I could spend a little more time on video games. However, then I realized that actually I should also spend some time learning. And then some years have passed. I was pursuing my career and stuff, and then I didn't really have time to play video games, and this was a very sad time. But then recently I had a little more time, so I came back. I got PS4, I got God of War, and started playing. But also at some point I was watching YouTube, just procrastinating, and then I realized that there are some people on YouTube who are getting Unity or Unreal Engine and building their own games, and I was like, this sounds like a really cool thing to do. So yeah, this is when I started learning about how to develop a game. And after spending some time doing that, here we are. I managed to put together this first game of mine, Race Me Now.
Okay. See, so a couple questions there. What engine did you end up selecting?
Yeah, I ended up using Unity. I used Unity because there is a lot of online support and good documentation and tutorials on YouTube on how to do stuff, especially like, for someone who is just beginning, who is starting their adventure with game development. So this was my main logic. And also Unity, many games in Unity are more in this stylized or simplified graphics. And this is the direction that I wanted to go. Whereas Unreal is more realistic and for stronger machines. It's not totally true. It's not the only way, but because the general idea, the general vibe from people who I was watching on YouTube was like this, I decided to go for Unity. And yeah, the amount of tutorials was very, very important aspect why I choose Unity. But I think Unreal is really nice, and also it's mainly in C++, and actually I have more experience in my professional life in C++. So this would be also interesting area to discover now that I have the basic concepts of game development behind me. I think I could also learn Unreal and see what Unreal is capable of.
Very possible, very possible. So it didn't take you very long to get to grips with Unity, did it?
Yeah, it was actually, a few months. I was just like in the evenings playing around, trying to do stuff, and where I decided that, hey, I mean, like, let's start just playing around. Let's pick one project. Let's decide what will be the scope. Let's decide how the game will look like, and just like go in that direction. So this took me, I don't know, maybe 3 months. And then I was like, okay, I got the the idea. I know what I'm doing. It will take me a few months and I will be done. And then 20 months later, 20 months later, I was ready to release the game.
Like, honestly, given the stories we've heard on this program, 20 months is not a bad time frame, especially for a first game, especially for a 3D game. I mean, look, we've had people whose first games took anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Mm.
I'm not even joking about that. So, anyway, so Race Me Now obviously is a racing game. What made you choose a particular genre? Gotta admit, we don't get a lot of people who select a racing game as their first or even second game.
Yeah. So the way I was thinking is that I wanted something that is well defined, and I think racing games are really well defined from start to the end, because you are basically the whole idea is to race. And this could also, I was thinking, will help me get more familiar with the engine, especially like with the physics aspects, and just getting things moving, getting the physics actually, like in Unity, is, I mean, like, depends on what you make of it, but what I made of it is quite simple approach, where you are just have an object and you apply some forces to it, and then as you apply forces, the rest, how this object is actually moving, this is the Unity calculates everything for you. So this is very nice thing. However, of course, I mean, like, the question is how to apply these forces, and I think I had so many different iterations of getting to the feel of the game that I was happy with. So at some point, I found this video from Kenny. Kenny is one of these people who are preparing video game assets and then sharing them for free. So Kenny is amazing. If you don't know about Kenny, check out his assets. So Kenny at some point published this video where he was showing how to use very simple physics to get the car racing physics. So this was basically, instead of having the whole shape of the car, the car from physics point of view was just a ball, and this ball was rolling, and this was super nice and super worked super well at the beginning. But then when I started to add more cars and adding AI and getting the cars to collide with each other and race with each other, then I realized that yeah, it behaves like a ball. So sometimes the balls are like jumping, sometimes they are like flipping one over the other. Also, Unity has its way of dealing with rotations. So in the end, after some tweaking and trying to optimize it, it was not working so well. So then I switched to other approach. So basically, the physics in my game is based on one aspect is the suspension. So this, like when you are turning in the game, you can feel how the car is a little swaying to one way to the other. And so this is because there is suspension. So this is just like springs. Basically, the car is on four springs, and then the other part is that there is the force that is pushing it forwards as you press the acceleration button, and then there are forces that push it to the sides as you press the arrows. So this is basically the whole idea of physics, and this is kind of like what I was aiming for some simple model, but at the same time fun model. So yeah, after many iterations of trial and error, how to tweak all the parameters and what model use, I was quite happy with this one. I was just like thinking what are the aspects that I want to like invest time and learn how to do. So the part of storytelling was not on my on the top of my list. It was more like physics, more understanding how to build the whole game, how to get it all together, how to get it working. So that's why I decided to go for a genre that is simple when it comes to for example, story. Or another aspect is like for example, some fighting and fighting mechanics. I wanted to do something that is simpler in a way, though like harder on the physics part. And beyond the racing itself, there is of course like the UI, what the user, what the player is seeing as they start the game, and there is the campaign modes. And yeah, this was fun to program. It was fun to figure out how to make it all work. It was also fun to add Steam achievements, and yeah, basically bring it all together. And yeah, another aspect is level design. So I think the level design is quite challenging, but also quite fun. I really enjoy how all the elements of the world that I created came together. Yeah, so these were all parts that I wanted to learn. I wanted to, like basically have a project that I can do from start to finish, and the project that where I can use my strengths and also learn as much as I can about game development.
Okay. And was the physics modeling related to the camera positioning? Because I'll note this is a like I guess we could call it a third-person full 3D racer, as opposed to something that's top-down or isometric, or even like a cockpit view.
Yeah, so cockpit view. So yeah, the car models that I have here. These were models that I bought, and these models, as you can see, they don't really have the inside. So that's why there is no cockpit view. You don't see like the chairs, the steering wheel. There are a little more simpler models. So that's why I decided to go with the camera that is behind. But if you want, you can also switch to the camera that is like directly, I guess, at the bumper, just in the front. Yeah, there are also other cameras, but there is no camera from the cockpit view because of the limitations of what I had, what I could work with.
That is not a surprise, since actually having a cockpit view would be fairly intensive.
Yeah.
Like, even the big AAA racing games don't have like full-on cockpit views for every car they have. Like, but anyway, so.
And yeah, I was also thinking about like more helicopter view, I guess, like like this isometric view maybe for the game. But then there is this game that also inspired me. It's called Art of Rally. It's really
Yeah.
it's really good game.
Yeah, we had the creator of that on the program.
Oh, nice.
Last season, I think. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, my game is low poly, and yeah, I was like, when I was playing Art of Rally, I was like, oh, how it would be cool to have like similar view, similar game, but maybe just like with a camera that is behind. So yeah, so this is like one of the ideas that I had, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And you call this a retro style racer, or rather, it's a very twitchy arcade racer. Was there a particular reason for that racing bent?
Yes, I think like I was very much inspired by all the Need for Speed games. When I was young, I really like Need for Speed, and yeah, I was like, let's try to make something similar. So hence I call it retro. However, yeah, I can see how people can argue about the retro aspect of it.
I mean, it's retro styled.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, because I look at this. Yeah, you could say this is something that might have been in the arcade, say 1993, 1995, but and we've had this conversation in various formats on the program before: retro style versus direct invocation of the retro. Because I couldn't pin this to a single game. Like, this game doesn't remind me of, say, Ridge Racer or Daytona USA or Pole Position specifically. And that is kind of the key difference between, style versus a direct inspiration, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how many tracks are in this game?
Yeah, so there are, I believe, currently 52 cars and currently 4 tracks. However, there is an update coming and there will be more tracks. I'm currently actively working on developing new levels.
Okay. And what are the tracks?
Yeah, so tracks were inspired a little by the seasons. So as you can see here on the screen, we can see like winter. So there are 2 wintry tracks and 2 summer tracks. This is I really like this winter colors with some purple. So this is like the inspiration for this track. And there is another winter track that was inspired by having bridges, a little like San Francisco bridge, and having some sea. This was something that I spent a long time to just have the waves working, and yeah, and there are 2 summer tracks. They are more like valley summer with some green and reds, and then some hills with summer, and with some like more summer/spring colors. And yeah, the color palette. This is something that I'm looking at currently with the new tracks. So yeah, not all decisions have been made yet, but stay tuned.
And in terms of the track design, are they all like separate tracks, or they one or two tracks just with the seasons changed?
No, they are completely different. This is the variation that I'm thinking about exactly. That it would be nice to have the same track, maybe at the different times of the day or with different weather. So this is something that I was definitely thinking about, but I decided not to include it yet in the first release.
Yeah, makes sense. If you're looking for another way to go about doing that, mirror mode, like having
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah. I spent lots of time with Mario on mirror mode on Mario Kart's mirror mode and not mirror mode.
Yeah. I remember that being a pretty consistent staple of racing games on the N64.
Yeah.
And let me see here. You mentioned weather effects. Are there any actual weather effects here? Like, do you have to worry about rain or snow?
No, not yet. Not in this version. This is something on my to-do list.
And let's see, of the cars or the vehicles. Well, I suppose, are they all cars, or do you get like go karts or trucks or some of the vehicles in the here?
Yeah, so there are 4 car categories. So there are more like basic cars, which you can see, for example, in these races that you are playing right now. But there are also 3 other categories. There are more sporty cars. There are more American muscle cars, and there are more supercars. And all of them differ with the way that you can steer them, that you can drive them, and of course, like max speed and accelerations is different in the cars. Um, yeah, and the way they look also is very different. And yeah, to get like 100% achievements in the game, you have to unlock all of the cars, and there are 50 cars. So I think this is something that people who like achieving everything will take them a minute to do it.
And how do you unlock the cars?
Yeah, so for every race you are earning some money, and then you can use this money to unlock the cars. And you are gaining this money both when you are driving in oops driving in single race mode, but also in when you are driving in the season, you are getting money to unlock the cars.
Okay. And is the season mode like all 4 tracks together?
Yeah, so for every car category, because there are 4 seasons, 1 season for each category, and for each season there are these 4 tracks to race.
Okay. Any plans to add additional modes, like a time trial mode, to the mix here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about that, or maybe like one-on-one racing, or also split screen. Yeah, there are many options. But currently, I think what was the feedback from people who have played the game so far is that they would like to have more tracks. So this is my priority number 1.
Okay. Let's see. So the music, how is that handled?
Yeah, so the music is I found this artist who has music available without royalties. So I reach out to him and ask like, hey, would it be okay if I use your music in the game? And he was like, yeah, sure. So yeah, this was actually quite fun. So these are most of the tracks. However, the first track, the main track, the theme track of the game, is composed by my brother. My brother is getting, I think, real good with playing the guitar. So I asked him, hey, would it be okay if you prepare some music for the game? And yeah, he was a little shy, but then I managed to convince him, and now he's super happy. So shout out to Arthur.
That's good. Let me see here. So you have mentioned extensively that this game was a learning experience and experimentation and all that, but was it always planned to be a commercial product, or was that something that happened during development? And you said this game is good enough to put on Steam.
Yeah, so basically the commercializing was one of the aspects of learning. And there are several aspects of it, like starting a company, checking out the accounting, and all the other boring stuff. And yeah, this was something that I wanted to go, like, from start to end. And Steam requires you to be some kind of legal entity, not just a physical person, but you can be sole proprietorship or anything like this. But yeah, you have to have some kind of like identity like this. So going through this process was also interesting. And yeah, my idea, once I decided on the project, was that I want to go from start to beginning. So through the whole development process, actual game, graphics, physics, music, Steam release, marketing, publishing, selling, everything. So yeah, I'm super happy that I managed to do it all by myself in spare time, and now I'm thinking about the next project.
That makes sense. But before we get to that, I suppose we should talk a bit about the Indie Racing Festival 2022. Um, since you were the one who actually introduced us to that particular event.
Yeah, how did you enjoy it?
I was a bit disorganized and also I wasn't feeling well that day.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm better now, but I had to go to the hospital after that was done.
Oh no, whoa, that's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Turns out I had too low of a sodium quotient in my body, but that seems to all have been taken care of. But anyway, what was your participation like as one of the vendors of the event?
Yeah, so on Twitter there is this group of people basically who are supporting each other, different developers, racing game developers. And one of the initiative is Indie Racers hashtag. So this initiative is where every, I believe, Sunday, one of us is sharing a post where there is a shout out to everyone who is developing Indie Racers game, and then everyone can share their updates of what they have been doing for the last week. So this is like a nice support and also a way of promotion. And the person who, I believe, initialized this initiative of this hashtag also at some point came up with the idea of organizing a festival. And this person on Twitter, you can find them as Classic Sport Driving. I highly recommend. It's a very nice, graphically appealing racing game. So yeah, Classic Sport Driving just just came up with the idea of organizing this festival, and got us all together. And yeah, there was the website, there was the initiative to get reach out to creators like you, and get everyone engaged and promote the idea of indie racing games. And yeah, it was, I think it was very successful. It was like more successful than at the beginning we were hoping for. So my role there was just one of the participants and promoting the whole event. But some of the people prepared the trailer or reach out to press and stuff like this, or created this website. So there was some serious work involved in preparing for this festival. And then yeah, I think there was solid coverage on Twitch, on YouTube, and I think everyone enjoyed. And I think the nice part for the players in this festival was that there was a chance to get the hands on the games. Usually, most of the games had some kind of like demos or some kind of giveaways with the keys, with the Steam keys. And yeah, I think I definitely enjoyed it, and I think so did the others. And thank you so much for participating too.
Not a problem. Did you see any spikes in sales from the festival?
So I published the game at the first day of the festival. So yeah, there was a spike.
Oh, okay.
So maybe this was not the best choice in terms of like analyzing the data, but on the other hand, I wanted to combine the two ways of promoting my game. And I think yeah, I'm quite happy how it ended.
Okay. And let's see, as far upcoming DLC aside, are there any plans to bring Race Me Now to other platforms? Like a console version or a mobile version?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and so now I have to make this decision. Either I want to invest my time in getting Race Me Now on other platforms, or if I want to start a new project. And this is like the dilemma that I'm facing currently. But I think especially mobile could be interesting, because this is low poly game, and I spent some time on making sure that it should run smoothly on different platforms. So there are a few things that are making it a little more difficult for the computer to calculate, like all these like God rays that you can see, and some special effects. But I think this type of fireworks are not really needed on mobile. And then,
well, the real trick with mobile is usually the controls.
yeah, that's true. This is something that I haven't looked at yet. So yeah, so basically, definitely, it's possible to get it on other platforms, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do it or not yet.
I suppose there isn't that, there isn't exactly a timer on that.
Yeah.
So, in terms of a new project, what do you have in mind, if anything?
Yeah, so there is this one concept that I really enjoy recently. Are you familiar with game Town Scraper?
Town Scraper?
Yeah.
Not
Scraper. So it's super simple game. All you do is just basically there are blocks where you hover your mouse over, and then when you click it, it builds a piece of like a house or something like this, and you can build like higher and or to the sides. And the magic of this game is that whatever you do, it always looks nice. And of course, you can do a little nicer or a little less nice things, but the concept is just like, getting it all together, and it always looks nice. And yeah, it's not really the game where you are winning with points or stuff. It's just a game where you are building this level, this castle, town, or whatever you want. So the technical aspect behind it, I quite enjoy how to get things together, like these 3D models together. So I was thinking to use this type of concept, but just as level editor for the player, and then on top of this level editor, which is based on the blocks, build something, some other game. I haven't decided really what game that would be, but for example, a racing game, I think it would be fun to create the racing game on top of it, or maybe some kind of like strategy game, like turn-based strategy game. Yeah, I'm thinking about how to use this concept, but right now I'm really enjoying the concept of just like generating levels in a way that is enjoyable for the player.
Well,
What do you think?
I suppose we'd have to see it in action, so to speak.
Town Scraper, actually, I think you can just play it without buying it on.
Race Me Now. Like, I played a bit of it. It's a very twitchy game. Like, Petty, how have you been enjoying the game?
So far I've been enjoying it. I will say there's a weird kind of like bug whenever you end a race. It wants to change the screen resolution, which is kind of annoying, but other than that, it's
That's
fine.
interesting.
Yeah, some
I have
Unity
to-
games do that when you jump back to a menu after finishing a level. I've heard it's a pretty easy fix. It just needs to be implemented.
Yeah, I think I know how to fix it. Yeah, thanks for finding the bug.
Not the first time that's happened.
Probably not going to be the last.
Anyway, Petty, Galax, do you have any questions about Race Me Now here?
I think most of the things I was going to ask got answered.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
All right. So yeah, I think that'll about do it for the time being. Konrad, it was lovely having you on the program to talk about your game.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
No problem. No problem. And good luck to you for whatever choice you make, either new project or porting this to other platforms. But in the meantime, the game is Race Me Now. It is currently available on Steam. It goes for $11.99. So be sure to pick it up today. All right. And yeah, that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon. Be sure to tune in next time for the Sunday reviews. And until then, I shall wish you good gaming.
Thanks.